Welcome to the Blueprint Athletes Basketball Podcast. I'm John Horford, here with the, I don't know what to say anymore about you. The ambiguous Josh Horford. Go look that word up after we're done with this.
Okay.
You might like it, you might hate it.
No, I don't think I like it.
Yeah, maybe. Ivan Coughlin, One Piece.
Yeah, no, I don't like it.
Ivan Coughlin's ambiguous.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Dude, you're fine. All right, let's get back on track real quick. This episode is titled How to Support Your Kid in a Constructive Way. And I want to do a separate episode that focuses more on coaches, but I'm going to talk a little bit about coaches and parents, but I guess more so parents this episode. And it might bleed in together pretty well, but I feel that there are too many parents and coaches prioritizing the wrong things, especially at the youth levels. Like even middle school, I still consider youth, right? But like elementary school, when the games are like 8 to 12, if that, and you're prioritizing like, getting buckets and, just shoot it however you want. Like you just got to get it up there. You got to get it up there, like type stuff. And like, praising the kids who are scoring and the other kids are it's whatever.
Yeah.
Like versus like praising kids for doing things the right way, right? So for having a good attitude, for being good teammates, for, doing their best. Like literally the first note was like, stop only praising your kid when they do well statistically.
Yeah.
Like,
so you think we need to hold kids to like a higher standard?
Yes. Like it's not enough for a kid to come in and even if they did great, like statistically in the game, like, how was their attitude? How did they react when things didn't go their way? How hard did they play? Like, were they cheering for their teammates? Were they listening to their coaches? Like, build up these habits in kids while they're young. So once they get older, they're more coachable, right? They have better habits. They prioritize and value, being good teammates and good people and listening and working hard versus the only time my dad ever told me he was proud of me was when I scored 10 points in a game, so
all right.
Like that's what I'm going for every time. And if I don't get that, like I messed up, like I made a huge mistake or I'm not good enough or, whatever. And I yeah, I'm human, I know, but it bothers me so much because that's literally how these kids start to value things.
Right.
Like, what gets me the most praise? Like, what did people clap for the most? And I feel like people need to give kids more credit when they do things the right way. Right? Like, much, much more credit. Like, they have to value attitude and effort over stats, especially when they're younger. You just have to, because then you get a bunch of these delusional kids that just happen to be whatever, bigger or better at throwing the ball up and getting a few layups a game in these games that are mostly super low scoring, not entertaining, not good basketball games by any means.
All right.
And they think that, oh, well, I've done it this way my whole life, so I can continue to do it this way and just be completely fine. And a lot of those kids are not fine, and they don't change what they're doing, and they don't, become more fundamentally sound because they're like, what I've done, it's worked for me this far. Like, why would I change it? And everyone's told them how great they were forever. And it's like, if I'm so great, like, why would I stop being great? Why would I stop doing what people told me made me great?
Yeah.
I genuinely, if I had it my way, I wouldn't even let elementary school kids, I wouldn't even have basketball leagues for them at all.
Yeah.
All skill development.
All right.
100%.
You don't think they're getting enough out of the games?
Not at all.
Yeah.
They're getting
I
nothing out of the games.
Yeah.
Like almost nothing. Watching those games hurts my soul. every single time.
It's definitely tough.
Dude, it's painful. They can barely dribble. They can barely pass. They can barely score. Like, dude.
And they're capable of it too.
They can be capable if they're trained.
Right, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yes.
And they're just not prioritizing it.
They're not prioritizing. It's like, oh, let's scrimmage. Like, dude, if I want to get a school district to back this. Grand Ledge. I know they won't do it, but they need to just stop. Like, if you want to have like a great basketball program, you have to prioritize skill development. Like, and if you start building those habits, if you build those habits to get in the gym and work on skills when you're that age, like, it's like pulling teeth when you get older kids, high school kids that have never worked out, like, until they get to like their senior year and they're just desperate because they're like, oh my God, like, not training and not working out, you know, has not gotten me where I thought it would. Like, I was a star in 6th grade. I was incredible. Everyone told me I was going to go to Michigan State. Like,
Right.
and it's just like, dude, you're in for a rude awakening. And then their senior year, they're like in a panic, and then they try to like catch up. And it's like, dude, let's stop playing catch up and let's start developing these kids from a young age to prioritize like skill development and then prioritize like the effort and the attitude. And then everything else with the game will come. Everything else with the game will come.
That work ethic will just be like a natural thing. Like,
exactly. Like, this is what we're supposed to do. Right? Versus like, oh man, that's so extra to do all that. Like, can we just scrimmage? Can we just scrimmage? Can we just scrimmage? Like, how many kids, Josh and I train kids every week at the Boys and Girls Club, and we were just there last night, so this is like fresh in my mind. But there are kids there that literally will shoot layups, you know, pushing it from like their stomach up, and it's just like horrible form. And some of them can make them, and they're like, why does it matter? Why do I have to shoot, you know, my layups this certain way? Like, why do I have to have a left hand layup? Why do I have to have a right hand layup if I'm left handed? Like, all these questions, and it's just like, it's like, what I've been doing, it works for me. It works for me. It works for me. Look, I can make it. I can make it. It's like, dude, it's not about that.
right.
It's about helping you to find a way to be more balanced as a basketball player, and building up this foundation will allow you to, you know, continue to gradually build up and develop more skills. Like, can we work on step back threes? Like, dude,
God, no.
You can't even make a layup. Yesterday, I literally told the kids, if any of you can make 10 layups in a row, I'll give you $1,000 right now. 1,000. They proceeded to miss the next 9 layups in a row. And I just stared at them. And I was like, you guys are delusional.
Yeah, this is reality.
Like, and then they got back on track, and then they went on like a little streak and did pretty good, but they still didn't get like 10 in a row.
Yeah.
They didn't. And that should be easy. That should be nothing. Like, they're young, but they're not that young.
Right. No, they're definitely capable of doing it.
Absolutely capable. And there are some kids in those groups that are getting like a lot better.
Oh, for sure.
A lot better.
Yeah.
Just because they're focused in, right? And we're just working on skill. And how many times yesterday did they ask us if they could play, if they could scrimmage?
A bunch.
A bunch. And what did I say? I said, we can, as soon as you know what you have to get done, right? You have to make, 40 layups as a group, and you have to make 50 jump shots as a group, and we have to get through the stretch and the dribbling and all that. And once we get through everything we have to do, there's extra time, we can play.
Yep.
So in reality, a group of like well-trained, like pretty skilled kids could probably get through all of that in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, right? For that age, 15, 20 minutes, right? And it took them an hour.
Yep.
An hour. So for all the groups, I know you had a good group yesterday. You guys got done pretty early, but
Yeah.
like my group, Cam's group,
Not a chance.
dude, we were close to getting done early, but it would only been like 5 minutes early.
Right.
Like, so what, 5 minutes of playing time? Like, you have to prioritize these skills. You have to be good enough to make these, make these layups consistently. The other thing that I wanted to touch on is, parents like coddling their kids, not holding them accountable, like for their own development. Like, a lot of kids will say, oh, it's not fair. Coach just likes this person. And like, here's the thing. At that age, I think everyone should probably play the same amount.
Yeah.
Right. And like I said, I wouldn't even have them play I wouldn't have them start playing games until like 7th grade if I had it my way.
Yeah.
7th grade, they would start playing games. Before that, all skill development. But kids will complain like, oh, so-or-so is coach's favorite. Like, they never play me, blah, blah, blah. I think it's on the parents to tell their kids, like, hey, instead of being like, yeah, you're right. Like, I'm going to go talk to the coach. I'm going to go talk to the principal. I'm going to go talk to whoever. Like, dude, how about you tell your kid that they need to work on their game?
Yeah.
Your kid probably can't dribble. Your kid probably can't shoot. Your kid probably has a bad attitude or might. Maybe one of those things, maybe all of those things. Why aren't these kids going in and working on their game more? Dribbling at home. Why aren't the parents helping them with their layup form and footwork?
Yeah.
Why aren't they, helping them develop a better shot? Helping them to improve, helping them to grow. Like, no different than if a kid came home with like math homework and asked their mom or dad to, help them with that.
Right.
Right?
It's definitely on the parents.
I feel like a lot of it is on the parents, right? Oh, you're so good, sweetie. Like, you're the greatest. You're the best. Like, no. Like, hey, here's what you can do. Regardless of skill, you can be a great teammate. You can work hard. You can listen to your coach. You can ask questions. You can do your best, right? And in the meantime, continue to work on your skills and get better. But until then, don't be a bad teammate. Don't get lazy. Don't have bad attitude. Are you going to slip up? Of course. Are you going to be perfect? Never. But like, for the most part, are you capable of doing that? Absolutely. How many parents hold their kids to, that type of standard?
Only parents who have been through that stuff.
Usually, and it's still very rare. I feel like a lot of coaches' kids.
Yeah.
Like good coaches will, their kids tend to be like that a little bit more.
Right.
But they're around the game and that's just an advantage of that. But I still don't think, no matter what type of parent you are, no matter what type of experience you have with basketball, the attitude, the effort, the listening, all that, you can teach your kid that.
Yeah.
You don't have to have any skill whatsoever or any knowledge about the game, right?
Just to be coachable.
To help instill that into your kids. Like, there's no excuse.
Yeah.
There's no excuse. So that leads right into the next point, which is just, giving kids an opportunity to fail and putting an emphasis on how them reacting to their failure by not quitting on their teammates or themselves is like really important, right? Like, you're going to fail. You're going to face adversity. You're going to have horrible shooting days. You might have days where you don't play. Like, how are you reacting to that? And you're not always going to react great.
Yep.
I didn't always react great.
No, man.
You didn't always react great. Like, no one does.
Yeah.
Right? But more often than not, right, are you able to move past that, to still support your teammates, to still, want the best for them, to still be locked in, to still listen to the coach, to still stay ready and put forth like a strong effort when given the opportunity. Like, these things matter, and this is the stuff that transfers like into life.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're going to face those same things at work, in relationships. Like, how do you react when things aren't going your way? What kind of person does that turn you into?
Right.
Right? I feel like that's like who people really are, and like I've said time and time again, it's not about being perfect.
Right.
Right? But then when you aren't perfect, and especially when you're especially bad or react poorly, it's so important to be able to, own up to that and, just apologize for that.
Right.
And
accept it, dude.
Accept it. Right? Some type of responsibility.
Yeah, that pouting. I mean, the kids we train, when they start to pout.
Dude, it's so annoying.
It's so annoying.
So annoying. But, so as a coach, into the next point. So as a coach, I feel like it's important for coaches to reward players who show those types of tendencies, to have those habits, versus rewarding the player with a horrible attitude that can get you who's getting you 6 to 8 points a game in your 5th or 6th grade game. Sick, bro. But
you're building horrible habits right now.
You're building horrible habits, and you're telling this kid that he can act this way and get whatever he wants.
Yeah.
When you might have a kid, that's not playing that much, but always listens, shows up on time, works hard, does their best. and you are killing them by not valuing what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
And it's building a poor culture
Yeah.
for basketball.
That's a big impact on kids.
Huge impact on kids, right? That was like the last part that I wanted to talk about but I mean, I guess we can just go right to it now, but how a bad coach can literally just destroy sports for a kid. Destroy sports for a kid. Not giving kids opportunities, not knowing how to, communicate with kids.
All right.
Just a lot of stuff. Like I would literally, if it wasn't for Larry, I would have quit probably in 4th grade, right?
Yeah.
Because none of the teams I ever played on growing up, I literally just sat the bench and never played, ever. And Larry would never let me quit. We'd always just go, like, keep working out. Like, it's going to work out. It's going to be fine. But he's telling me that, like, when I'm in 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, like, all the way through, right? And it wasn't even really until high school where I started getting, like, real opportunity. But, like, and that's, like, it's bad coaching to me, right? It's bad coaching to me to put kids in opportunities where they can never have a chance to have success.
All right.
Right? Especially when they're like working for it. And I know I'm biased because it's me. But, dude, it's the truth.
I know.
Like I remember in middle school one time, our head coach went on a cruise. Right? I told you this story before. He went on a cruise and the assistant coach was always super nice to me and like wanted to give me an opportunity. So for this, like we had like 2 games, right? Played both games. He played me, leading score both games. And literally they treated me, I can't even say how they treated me, but they treated me like I literally like couldn't walk and then like learned to walk.
Right.
It was, oh my God, it's a miracle. Like, like, this is crazy. Like, oh my, like we're like, good job, buddy. Like, I'm just like, dude, I kill you guys all the time.
Right.
Like, your dad's not playing me.
Yeah.
That's the reason why you don't get to see it in game more often. He goes out of town. And then when he came back, I went back to not playing. But, I mean, it's just crazy. You know what I mean? And if I didn't have someone like Larry in my life, and that's the guy who taught me, Al, Josh, all of us how to play basketball. If I didn't have someone like Larry, I would have quit. Like, if I didn't have a good coach in my life, I would have quit. Like, it just makes that much of a difference.
Yeah, shout out to Larry.
Shout out to Larry. And I would have, just hated basketball.
Yeah.
Like, forever.
Yeah, and no one could blame you because you're just a little kid at that point. Like,
dude, exactly. But, like, these coaches, stop trying to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
Like, they're, like, 3rd graders, 4th graders. These coaches are acting like they're coaching in, like, I know Super Bowl's football, but, like, and they act like they're coaching in, like, the NCAA tournament. And it's, like, the championship. Like, it's the Final Four or something.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
They're probably betting on the games with other coaches.
Calm down. These are children.
Right.
Like, play the kids and do a better job coaching. Our coaches are like, well, we don't get paid for this. And, I know coaches have families and work and all that. But if you don't want to put in the time, if you don't want to help these players grow and develop them, then don't do it. Do something else. I don't care if there's no one. They're going to find someone to do it. They're going to find someone to do it. You don't do it. All right. And you have to look in the mirror and really see, am I the right person for this? Should I be the person in this position doing this? Like, because you can literally like ruin a kid's life. Like, to go back, and it's easy to talk about myself because, it's me and, I understand my experience and stuff. But the trauma from not playing all those years and not being given like opportunities that, that I've tried to earn, like, through work. And dude, I was mortified playing basketball. Like, people don't understand. Like, people who played against me in like high school, probably like, oh, that dude, like, man, he wasn't scared of anything. Like, he was mean and would yell and scream and hit people and do all that. Dude, I was literally terrified every single game because I was just like, I literally was traumatized from my childhood coming up, playing basketball. Like, coaches always telling me like how, like, you suck, you're not good, aren't you a Horford? Why aren't you better? Like,
oh yeah,
like, dude, all the time I was literally like traumatized and referees would be like early in my high school career, they'd be like, we were so afraid of you because you were like such a loose cannon. Like they used to tell me that like my senior year when I was like in college or pros or like when I run into them.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, it was literally all a defense mechanism. Like I was so scared going into every game.
Yeah.
And I literally always thought, even though it didn't make any sense, I literally always thought like my coaches are going to stop playing me. Like if I don't do well, they're going to stop playing me and I'm never going to get off that bench. Like, dude, yeah,
that shit sounds stressful.
It takes so long to like shake that trauma. Like seriously. And it's all because of youth coaches that I had. It's all because of youth coaches that I had that probably shouldn't have been youth coaches.
Yeah. You're probably one of the last people that should have ever had to deal with something like that.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's super interesting. But to my point, right? Not everyone's fortunate enough to have someone like I always had Larry. Like he always had my back, always reassured me, you know, always kept me like positive and kept me working and all that.
All right.
Like think about all the kids who don't, and it just destroys sports for them completely. That's why when I say, if you're not willing to help these kids grow and look out for their best interests and help them, like all the kids on the team, don't be a coach.
Yeah.
Go do something else. Go watch your kids play. Go do something else because you're hurting kids. Like you're literally traumatizing kids sometimes. Right?
Yeah.
And I know if I was traumatized, I know there are tons of other people who were, because
For sure.
no one would ever know that unless I told this story like I just did. Like no one would ever know.
All right.
No one would ever know. I guess the last part that we can touch on real quick is just making sure that playing sports is actually something that your kids want to do, like that sport. There's so many sports, so many different activities.
Yeah.
And a lot of parents just get it in their mind like, my kid has to play basketball. My
Right.
kid has to play football. My kid has to play baseball. My kid has to play golf or tennis or whatever. Instead of allowing kids to play multiple sports, like our parents were a little guilty of that, especially like with, you know, with Al and with myself, just because they straight up said that I wasn't allowed to play anything else but basketball. Like you played football a little bit.
Yeah.
But I had your back. I was always like pushing for you on your behalf, right? And I tried to push you to play baseball because I still think that was your best sport.
Yeah, that's fun.
Dude, you could really hit it. But it's just let kids play multiple sports. Make sure that it's something they want to do. Maybe they play basketball and then go try football, baseball, and realize that they love basketball and go play basketball. Or just let them play, you know, multiple things.
Yeah.
Or do a different type of activity. Like
Right.
parents forcing kids into sports and making them do something that they don't want to do or they're not happy with. Like when we had the camp, it was a couple years ago now, but the one kid
What's
was just,
his name?
dude, I'm not going to say, I remember his name, but I'm not going to
okay.
say his name. And he was just straight up like, yeah, he's like, my mom paid for me to be here, but I hate basketball and I just want to be a cheerleader. I was like, bro.
I remember his name.
I was like, bro, you just go be a cheerleader. Man.
Right.
Like, do your thing, dude. Like, and he was like 2 days on the side cheering for everyone, going around, just having fun. Like, he had a great time.
Right.
But he didn't want to play basketball. And I'm totally cool with that. Yeah, I hope his parents are totally cool with that.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't want kids having to grow up like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. Like,
Right.
let them have a little bit of freedom, right? Let them have a little bit of freedom. So let's end it on that note. If you want to reach out to us, if you think we missed anything, which you probably did, it's the topic that we could probably go on for hours about. If you think we missed anything or want to talk about anything or, you know, have a point to make, you can reach us at blueprint.athletes on Instagram and blueprint.athletes@gmail.com. We get to all the messages. If we don't get back to you right away, don't be shy. Send us a second message, right? Sometimes we miss stuff. There's a lot of messages coming in. Get lost in the shuffle. Anything else that comes to mind for you?
Parents, hold your kids accountable.
Parents, hold your kids accountable. People that shouldn't be coaching, right? If you're not going to look out for all the kids on the team, don't coach.
All right.
And if you have a problem with that, come talk to me about it because I will put you in your place. All right. This has been Blueprint Athletes Basketball Podcast. Thanks for listening.